Okay. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. Why the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the absolute world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw in the chat box. I try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus also, just rambling on for a half an hour or whatever. It's nice to talk to just another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's a top link in the description box. Takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, the second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. Right? So if you want to help support my channel out, once it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I could use all the support I can get. But if you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed, thank you. I really appreciate it. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a group. And basically, I say this in every video. My YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, it's all called, which on the Facebook page, I'm going to go over that in a minute. Basically, it's all called the same thing. It's the New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way, I dumb it down from a moron like me. That way, I can remember. Right? I'm not like, what's the YouTube page called? What's the Facebook group? What's the Facebook page? It's all called the same thing. It really makes it easy for me, so that way I don't forget. Facebook group, what do we got? We're over 4,100 members in the group now. Probably once the season starts getting underway, so in the next few weeks or so, whatever, it'll probably start growing a little faster than it has over the past couple of months, because it's the off season. But we're over 4,100 members. What I do is as soon as I get done going live, I'll spend probably close to like the next 2 hours or so just putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in a minute. But not only do I put stuff in the group, but the members post stuff in the group as well too. So I mean, for me, I try to get up to 10 things a day if I can in there. Like sometimes in the off season, it's a little difficult, but during the regular season, it's a ton of stuff. Every day goes in there. Now, whether it's a video, something just showing some stats on a ball player, I found a bunch of some stuff just like showing the Madden ratings on a lot of the players. I'm not sure if I put that in the group or if I might have put them. Actually, I think I put those in the page, but it could be a picture, a post, an article. I'm sharing an article, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. I try to get up to 10 things or so every day in the group. As I said, between myself and the members, there's a ton of stuff going in there every day, 7 days a week, right? 7 days. Even when I was on vacation, I was still putting stuff in there. If I got internet access, there's stuff going in there every day, without question. Then also, the second Facebook link, it takes you to my Facebook page, right? I'm the administrator and I'm on the page. So I'm the only one that posts anything in the page, but it's the same thing, 7 days a week. I'm always putting stuff in the page. I try to get to 10 different things every day in the page if I can. Once again, I said, whether it's a post, a picture, sharing some stats on a ball player, a video, Once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. What are we at? We're over 2,300 likes on the page, and we're so close. We're so close. Sorry, I was just eating some peanuts, and I think I'm choking on one of them. But we're over 6,900 followers. Oh, so close to 7,000 followers. That should be the. It's been hanging like that for like a day or so. So I'm going to say probably by tomorrow we'll be at like about 7,000 followers. It's really, really. I'll tell you what, the page is really, really doing good. But I said it's the same thing. 7 days a week. As long as I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in there every day. Right. So if you go to the page and you like and you follow it, you go to the group, right, and you become a member, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And like I say all the time in every video, if you go to the page and you like and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, well, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Man, I tell you what, you miss a week, man, you miss a lot. It's kind of like it's like General Hospital, isn't it? As the Saquon turns, huh? Man, oh man, oh man. Well, I was shocked. I really thought something would have gotten done. I hope I'm not doubly shocked when we're getting ready to kick off against the Cowboys on September 10th, and Saquon's not standing on the sideline in number 26, ready to carry the ball, ready to run out on the field. I hope I'm not doubly shocked there, but it is what it is. I mean, you see so many articles, Saquon turned this down, Giants offered that, Saquon did this, Saquon, I don't know. I mean, one of them I saw was that they were like within like $1 million or $2 million, of reaching some type of a deal, and they just weren't able to get it done. I really wish they could have gotten it done. To me, Saquon is more than just Saquon. He's more than just a running back. He's not somebody you just traded for. He's not this. He's not that. I know, I get it. He's a Gettleman guy. He came with the team and all that, but he's like the face of the franchise. As I said, once again, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if we're ever going to find out exactly what the details were that they turned down, that they couldn't get done or whatever. But I wish they could have gotten something done. I mean, to me, I don't know. I mean, it's so weird because you can go either way. I see a lot of arguments out there, like especially my Facebook group, my Facebook page, and all the other Facebook groups and all that stuff. And you see so much. There's one of the things I'm going to go over with, and I can't stand them, which would be, got to fly. Oh, got it. Killed it. Yeah. He was flying around my head. He landed on my computer screen. Got him. Now, I can't stand him, but it's Howie Roseman of the Eagles. But if you look the way, at how he's building his running back group, and he looks same thing with the Chiefs. I mean, what did the Chiefs do last year? Right? I mean, how much were the Chiefs paying their running backs last year? Not a whole heck of a lot. Now, of course, we're not, at what the Eagles have as far as like an offensive line, defensive line. We got a couple cornerbacks now, so we can maybe, but we're still a little shy of the Eagles. But if you look at what the Eagles are doing, with their running backs, we got Jersey guys, the ghost of Dave Gettleman has continued. A lot of us were thinking now, how in a rebuild could we draft a running back? Yeah. I mean, I think they were trying to like push for one big last push for Eli, right? Let's get him. I mean, because we took Ingram, right, in 2017, right? Of course, we had OBJ. Let's get him Ingram. Then let's get him Saquon, right? So now we got some weapons there. We had Sterling Shepard, right? We had OBJ, we had Ingram, we had Saquon, we had Eli. I mean, you had for whatever 1 year or whatever, for the most part, you had Saquon, you had OBJ out there, you had right. I blame Pap Shermer too. Yeah. I said there's so many, good and bad, either way. I wish they could have gotten something done. But you see a lot of people, a lot of people out there also kind of like, are happy, that Shane stood his ground. This is what we got for you. If that's not acceptable, I understand, but this is what we got for you, so he stood his ground. But then you see, Saquon scrubbed his social media accounts of the Giants. The chances of Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants mending fences were already looking bleak. Then Friday rolled around, and now things somehow look worse. Barkley, the former Penn State running back, turned. Who is this? This is Penn Live. I mean, there's a bunch of articles on this here. Penn Live, Patriots News. So, of course, the Giants went out, got themselves the former 1,000-yard rusher, James Robinson, right? So I said Robinson entered in 2020. In 2020, he didn't do too bad with the Jaguars. An undrafted rookie free agent with Jacksonville. He ran for 1,070 yards and 7 touchdowns and caught 49 passes for another 344 yards. And 3 more scores. So his first year, he had 10 touchdowns. He ran for 776 more yards in 2021, caught an additional 31 more passes. Now, if you look, if I can find them, I got 3,000 tabs open up. There we go. What was it? Where was it? I mean, even in but you look in his second season, I'm just going, I'm just throwing some stats out here. He played in 14 games with the Jaguars. He played in 14 games in 2020. But, I mean, his yards per carry went up. I mean, he was up to 4.7 yards a carry. But once again, he catches the ball out of the backfield. His rookie season, he had over 1,000 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, 4.5 yards a carry. Then he started and last year, he was with 2 teams. It was the Jacksonville, and he was with the Jets. The Jets, he averaged 2.9 yards a carry. But he was with the Jaguars for about half the season. They averaged 4.2 yards a carry. So I guess the Giants are trying to, possibly prepare for life after or without Saquon, shall we say. Now, if I go into Spot Track, I guess they haven't shown the contract details yet, whatever they might be, because they got Robinson here. I have nothing for him. Cole Beasley, they got nothing for him. And even Darren Evans, who they signed, they got nothing for him, too. Now, over the cap. Let's see. Does over cap have anything on these guys here? The contract. Let's see here. Whoops. Here we go. Let me scroll on down to the bottom there. We have anything here? Darren Evans, 7, base salary, $750 for Darren Evans. So that's what they got for him. I don't see anything. I don't see anything for the other guys just yet. So, I mean, obviously I would not expect it to be nothing crazy. But, I mean, if you look at what the Eagles have done, this is, unfortunately, sadly, is what you hate to say. Do you think the Chicago or Buffalo would give us a haul similar to McCaffrey, Dave? So would you do it? Maybe Cincy. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, give them somebody good, huh? Saquon? I don't know. I mean, interesting to see, how ugly, is Saquon bluffing? Because he's guaranteed $10 million. I mean, if he comes and he plays 3 games and he winds up, of course, I don't hope this on anybody, even an Eagle ball player. So that shows you how serious I am. But if he plays 3 games and he signs on the dotted line, goes out, plays 3 games, and winds up fracturing his ankle, he's out the whole season. He gets $10.1 million. So I mean, it'd be interesting to see what a whole. I mean, man, that's tough. That would be tough to do. I don't know. I mean, interested to see if anybody's called. I have heard of, I've seen like articles about Buffalo. Now I've seen with Chicago too, because with Fields, a best friend would be a good running back. That would he would help Fields out a heck of a lot. I really think. And Buffalo, I mean, man, you got Josh Allen there, you got Saquon in the backfield. Their thing is, I'm not so sure. I'd have to look at their salary cap. I know they were kind of hurting for some money, but he's pissed. 4 picks. He's yeah. That was the thing, is because the thing that it kind of shocked me a little bit was like that I don't know. I forgot who it was, and he was sitting down there talking on the microphone. I could say, F to the Giants, or I could F the Giants, or I could say F to my teammates and all that stuff and everything. That kind of shocked me a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I didn't think he would say stuff like that. I was a little shocked. You know what I mean? That scene, obviously, for him to say something like that would be he is a little perturbed. But I was a little shocked when he did wind up saying stuff like that. Especially, I could say F to my teammates and all that and everything. Second, third, and fourth, and fifth round of McCaffrey deal. Wow. Well, I mean, if somebody's going to do that, somebody's going to give a second, third, and a fourth, and a fifth. That might be hard to pass up. I mean, for somebody, I mean, let's see, how many carries? What's he got here? Saquon here. What do we got? This would be a 6-year running back. He's had 954 attempts. So he's had almost 1,000. However, he's also caught 247. Okay, good. So he's had 1,200 between carries and catches, 1,200. So if you can get a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth, I think that might be hard to pass up. I mean, especially because then not only that, but you figure you would clear $10 million in cap space, because that $10 million is, I think, it's gone against the cap right now. And if you can get 4 picks for him, I think sign him up. But I mean, if you look at like what I said, I hate the Eagles, but I mean, what they've done. Is this it? Nope. There we go. I mean, they got DeAndre Swift is at $1.77 million. Rashad Penny's at $1.08 million. Kenneth Gainwell is $940,000. Boston Scott's at $1.85 million, and Trey Sermon is $1.13 million. Now, I don't even, that's 5 guys. I'm just throwing out there, and I'd have a hard time believing. I mean, that's like not even $7 million. They got 5 guys, 5 running backs. They're 5 running. Even DeAndre Swift from 1.77. I'm not sure if he has like some incentives in there or not. That I'm not sure, but it says we're looking at combined base salary alone. Philly is spending about $6.75 million on its running backs for 20. So those 5 guys right there, $6.75 million on their running backs. The Eagles are one of the least spendy teams when it comes to running backs next season. Let's not forget, they have a fantastic offensive line. They got a very good quarterback, a very good tight end. They have obviously that 1-2 punch, DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown, 2 stud wide receivers. Now, behind them, I'm not totally thrilled over the moon with a lot of their their depth. So if they were to start getting injured, we might start seeing some true colors come out from the Eagles there. But if they're all nice and healthy like they were kind of last year, and everything just rolls along week in and week out, they're all nice and healthy for the most part and everything, the Eagles got a special team without question. But I mean, they're like a lot of other teams. I mean, they're out there. They're not spending a lot of money on running backs. And you can even go back and look. And I've seen it quite a few times, like looking back over the past, 10, 12. I mean, I've seen them go back to, I think 2011, maybe even 2010, like with the Giants last time they won the Super Bowl in 2011, what the winning running backs were making in the Super Bowl. I mean, wasn't much money. I mean, you go back, I mean, it's not like, 5 out of the last 10 were Super Bowl winners were paid their running backs nothing. I mean, you go back, I mean, 10, 11, 12 years, whatever it was. I mean, Super Bowl winning running backs were not making a lot of money. We're not making a lot. We could rush for 1,000 behind their O-line, like the Herschel Walker deal. Oh man, oh my God, what a haul. I mean, that was stupid. I mean, they gave him like, oh my, I can't even. I was like, I'm going to say 10 players. It would be between draft picks and players. I mean, I know they gave them what wound up being with Minnesota. Minnesota gave them some players, but there was also like a stipulation. And Jimmy Johnson was saying this. Have you ever heard? There was a video out that Jimmy Johnson was talking about what they got a haul for Herschel Walker. They got some players, and that was based on obviously if they were to make the team. And Jimmy Johnson's like, these guys ain't making the team. Whoever, I can't remember who they got. Maybe one guy made it. I don't even know. But Jimmy Johnson got these players, and it's like if they make the team, we keep the players. They don't make the team, we get these draft picks. And Jimmy Johnson kind of knew well that he's like, we ain't keeping these guys. Because Jimmy Johnson knew he could draft. He said we could draft and we can draft well. So he turned a lot of those players. I can't remember who they wind up going into, who those players, they let them go. They got the draft picks for them, and they did some good drafting. So, but I know Jimmy Johnson said to himself, we're getting rid of these guys. None of these guys are making a team, and we're going to get the draft picks for them. So, I mean, yeah, but that was. I mean, you get every now and then you get like a trade like that. That stuff doesn't happen very, very well. I mean, that was like almost highway robbery. But even if you look at the Christian McCaffrey, I mean, that was a big trade too. Nah, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I mean. See how pissed off he really, really is. He really, really is. 8 picks, 4 players. Oh, is that what it was for the Herschel Walker? Was it that many? I mean, jeez. I mean, that was just. But I mean, that was one of the things that helped the Cowboys build their dynasty. I mean, they turned a lot of those picks into some really good players. A lot of those guys really helped them build their dynasty. I mean, you figure 89? Yeah, 89. 89, they were 1-15. That was Jimmy Johnson's first year, right? So they go from 1-15 in 89 and 1992 to the Super Bowl champions. I mean, what's 89, 99? So 3 years, they go from 1-15. 3 years later, they're holding the Lombardi Trophy. And then at 93, they're holding the Lombardi Trophy. And, if Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, if Jerry wasn't such a jackwagon, what a idiot, absolute idiot. I mean, he has to be the center of attention and this and that and all that stuff. I mean, he couldn't. I think it's like I had a hard time with Jimmy having all the attention and getting the notoriety and all of that. And okay, good. I mean, hey, you get all the notoriety you want, man. You keep winning me Super Bowls. Go right ahead, pal. You can be the star of the show. I could care less. You keep winning me Super Bowl. You know, what an idiot. Absolute idiot. The way he treated Landry. Yeah, that too. Yeah, yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, the thing was with like Landry, it seemed like, a lot of his, it's just like the way he was treated him. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, what was not classy at all. It's just like Landry seemed like, I don't know. I mean, in the early 80s, they were still good. 85, 86, they were good. And then they just started kind of tailing off a little bit. I don't know. I can't say if Landry was going to try to start, was able to start rebuilding or whatever. But the team that Johnson took over was the cupboard was pretty bare. I mean, they didn't have a whole heck of a lot there going there for them at all. But I mean, that 1-15 team, they were pretty brutal. But I'll tell you what, a few years later, they were really, really good. Yeah, I mean, Jerry, just what an idiot. I mean, I really think he's getting what he deserves. I mean, it's fun making fun of him because everyone. Well, I mean, they say 96, but I mean, it was after the 95 season. They won the Super Bowl after the 95 season, which was, I guess, in February of 96. That's why everybody keeps saying since 1996. I mean, so we're coming up on, close to almost 30 years. They haven't won a Super Bowl. So I'm really happy about that. I absolutely love that. Explain the flex defense. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, that's one of those things you start thinking about, makes you scratch your head and this, that, and that. It's like, man, what would have happened if we kept Tom Landry, or even Vince Lombardi? Right. But I mean, if we kept Tom Landry, I mean, because he took a team, because back in 1960, I mean, you're getting like garbage. It's not the way it is nowadays. I mean, like where the Carolina Panthers went in 1995. I mean, the way the draft is and all, and the way they're giving players and, this and that, all that stuff and everything. And the Carolina Panthers in the second year, and even Jackson, like they're saying that, whatever, they went to championship games. I mean, back then in 1960, you're giving like nothing, and each year he kept adding little pieces to the puzzle, these pieces to the puzzle. And so by 66, they at 66, they went to the playoffs, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. 73, 74, they didn't because they're 8-6, but they didn't. But I think 75, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 81, 82. I mean, they just every freaking year they just kept going. And the thing that makes you really want to punch yourself in the face, is that every year the Cowboys went to the playoffs, and you figure from 1964 to 1980, the Giants only had 2 winning seasons. I mean, couldn't even make it to the playoffs. I mean, it's just, man. Tom Coughlin built the Jags. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, he may not get in this year, but I mean, if you don't get in, I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Absolute joke. I mean, what he did with the Jaguars in such a short period of time, he took them to 2 championship games. And then, of course, obviously, it helped that we had Eli. Well, don't forget that. But I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls. So, I mean, special coach. And obviously, he also has 3 Super Bowl rings because in 1990, he was the Giants' wide receiver coach. And then, of course, then he went to Boston College for a few years there, and he wound up having a very successful college career, right? So, I mean, he was very successful wherever he went. If not, Dan Reeves must get it. I mean, same thing with him. I mean, Dan Reeves took, I guess it was just 3 teams, right? Yeah, but he took 3 different teams to the playoffs, right? He took the Falcons, right? Because, I mean, after the Falcons, he wasn't with anybody after the Falcons, right? I don't think. I mean, he took the Giants, he took the Falcons, he took the Broncos, right? He took he took the Broncos, right? He was a terrific player. Yeah. Oh, yeah, very, very good. Oh, yeah. And he learned under Landry, too. Because he was, I don't know how long he was with the Cowboys as like a coach, but he was on the side. Him and Ditka were on the sideline under Landry in the early 70s. I mean, I can't remember when Reeves. I know he was there in 71 because I remember he played in the Monday Night Football game against the Giants in 71. So he might have played till 72 or 73, somewhere around there, but it wasn't much past that, I don't think. But I mean, he went to 4 Super Bowls. He lost. Yeah, but look at Marv Levy. He's in the Hall of Fame. He went to 4 straight Super Bowls, but he lost them all. I mean, the Broncos, they lost to the Giants. By 19. Then they got. I mean, you look at Bud Grant too, right? He went to 4. He's in there. But I mean, then they got killed by the Redskins, 42-10. Then they got. I don't even want to say annihilated. It was like 55-10 against the 49ers. Then they lost to the Broncos, and it was at 98, because 97, the Broncos beat the Packers, because the Packers went to back-to-back. The Packers won in 96, then they lost in 97. 1998, that was John Elway's last game last season. So he took the Falcons to so he took 2 different teams to Super Bowls. I mean, if he's not in there, I mean, I understand he lost them all, but he took 2 different teams to Super Bowls. He went to 4 Super Bowls, 3 different teams he took to playoffs. I mean, and he won because the Giants in 1993, they beat the Vikings 17-10, I think it was. Then they played the 49ers and they lost, I think it was 44-3. So was it Waters had like 75 touchdowns against the Giants, and it was a shame, because that was Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor's last game. It was a shame. Heck, such a shame for them to go out like that. But I mean, those guys. Yeah, Bud Grant. Yep. Yeah, he played in the Ice Bowl. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, good player, good, solid player. But I mean, he's a very, very good coach. I mean, he only lasted 4 years with the Giants, because the Giants didn't have really. I mean, because the first year in '93, that's when they had Phil Simms, right? He had a great season. They just never brought him back. But then after that, that's when they had Dave Brown from Duke. Then the Kent Graham and Danny Canal. I mean, I mean, like, Dave Brown wasn't the worst quarterback of all time. And I think he had a rather lengthy career. I think he played into the 2000s. I think he wound up as like a backup. But he played for like 10 years, I think it was. But I mean, Danny Canal, Kent Graham, but I mean, the final 3 seasons he was with the Giants, 94, 5, and 6, was just not very, very good at all. But we didn't have great quarterback play. That was kind of like, some of the guys we had were kind of getting older, and kind of, like Carl Banks left, Taylor left, Simms, they never want to be signing him, some of the guys, and then we started bringing in some newer guys. I said quarterback play was not phenomenal. We didn't have Bavaro anymore. We didn't have, phenomenal wide receiver play, just what it was. Coach Reeves wanted more say on personnel, and Young asked him to. Oh, yeah. Well, you start, you start looking at some of those drafts that Young made. I mean, his last 5 or 6 or so picks were like Jared Bunch, 91, the fullback from Michigan, Cedric Jones in 96. Who was it Brown, the tight end from Notre Dame, played had 11 catches for the Giants in 2 or 3 years. 11 catches, first round pick. I think he had 11 catches. Are you kidding me? That's your first round pick? Are you kidding me? Young's early on, a lot of his picks in the 80s and all that helped the Giants win. But I mean, he started some of his. Wow, he had a couple. He had some real. His last 4 or 5 drafts were really first round picks. Were not very good at all. 93, we didn't have a first round pick because we traded away in a supplemental draft to get Dave Brown. However, thankfully, in 93, we wound up drafting Lawrence Taylor. And I think that was when we got Jesse Armstead in the 8th round. So that was a good pick. But some of his later round picks were not very good at all. I mean, really, really bad. Poor. Coach wanted more on personnel. I mean, unfortunately, I guess maybe he should have listened to him. because after he left the Giants, he went to Atlanta, and what did he do? He took him to a Super Bowl. Well, so Reeves left after, and was it 96? So I guess he was with Atlanta in 97. So within 2 years, he took Atlanta to a Super Bowl. So I kind of still know what he was talking about. Belichick wanted Brown in Cleveland. Belichick wanted Brown. I heard about that too. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Dave Brown, yeah. Yeah. Actually, I seen, what was it? Dave Brown was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was talking about that. He was talking about the supplemental draft. I seen that. It was a few months ago. I seen that. He had a nice long, it's like a 10, 15-minute long interview with Dave Brown on his. So Belichick hated Kosar. Kosar, I guess, wasn't for everybody, but I mean, he took him to a couple of championship games. I mean, if was it Biner fumbled, didn't fumble? Was it Biner? They had the two great running backs. Didn't fumble the ball. And then, of course, the drive, But, of course, in 1986, it was looking like the Giants and the Jets might get to the Super Bowl because the Jets were winning. Was it 20-13 or something like? I think it was. And then was it 20-14? And they tied it up and they wound up winning in overtime. I mean, Kosar was big in that playoff game against the Jets. At the end, he was big. Then, of course, they lost the championship game against Denver with the drive, right? But that was John Elway, right? But Kosar wasn't for everybody, but, Bernie was good. Big mouth. Big mouth. I mean, some guy, like Vinny Testaverde wasn't for everybody, but Bill Parcells loved him. I know he think he wore his welcome out, I think, in Tampa, but when it came around to Bill, Bill Parcells took him. He had him in New York. Forgot what year it was. One of the years, the first game of the year, he tore his ACL, I think it was. I forgot what year it was. But Vinny, and my bad. And then he had Vinny Testaverde was his quarterback, I believe, was in he had him in Dallas too. So, some people, Vinny Testaverde was, but I mean, you got Bill Parcells loved him. 1998 was that it was? Yeah. Yeah, he it's like his first game of the year. I'm not sure that was the game where I can't remember the punter. They was it the punter? They brought a punter in, and they almost wound up winning a football game because maybe they didn't have a backup quarterback in there. Tommy Tupa, he played, I think, in one game. I think it was against the Saints. I was going to say the Patriots, and somehow they almost wound up winning the football game with Tommy Tupa as their quarterback. I mean, that just goes to show you how well Bill Parcells was, good at coaching. Then Myra. And Ray Lucas, yeah, I forget Ray Lucas. Yeah, I remember Ray Lucas, yeah, and Myra. Yeah, so I mean that was a tough season, because I mean because Parcells took the Jets to the championship game. They were winning. They were beating the Broncos 10-9, and then they wound up losing 23-10. I think they couldn't score a point in the second half. Same old Jets. Yep. Same old. Yeah, well, I'll have to wind up seeing what happens this year with good old Aaron Rodgers. Huh? Yeah, see if he can hold up for a whole season, because their offensive lines are looking a little porous. That's a lot what I hear anyway. I mean, they got a good defense. If they can keep Aaron Rodgers upright, maybe he can get some things done. But if not, there'll be a long season for the Jets too. Byers, was it Byers missed field goal? Sherbert, big drop dump. Oh. Big drop dump in the championship game. Is that what you mean? Because I remember the second half. Because I I was pulling for him because I'm a New York guy, so I was pulling. Plus, it was also Bill Parcells. Yeah, okay. So it was Bill Parcells. I was pulling for the Jets. Yeah, and then when it 10-9, I'm like, damn, wow, all right, let's go. Okay, Bill, here we go. I was pulling for him in with the Patriots too. I didn't want. I wasn't much of a Packer fan back there, so I was pulling for him for the Patriots. But when they had the lead 10-9, I'm like, okay, here we go. In the second half, they just couldn't score no points. Yeah, I mean, I guess that what we said that a fumble, that missed field goal, Wayne Corbett. Yeah, I mean, he would. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he was good. he was good. He was really, really good. Especially remember in the first Super Bowl when he had he had the migraines. He said he couldn't see. Shanahan's like, well, you need to just get in the game, because if you're not in the game, then so just at least get in there. Just get in. Whether you're going to get the ball or not, but at least because at least if he's in the, even if he can't see, but at least if you're in there, yeah, he's a decoy. Oh yeah, because the Packers didn't know that he couldn't see. We knew it because we heard it because he was, he had the microphone on. I don't know. Oh, then again, I don't know if he was microphoned up or if Shanahan was microphoned up, or they were both microphoned up. But we knew it. But the Packers didn't know that. But yeah, if you're not in there, you can't be a decoy. So that wound up being huge. Oh yeah, Shanahan was a great coach. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, without question. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of good memories from those times there. Oh yeah, we don't know how lucky we had it. Oh yeah, absolutely. He used Lombardi's blocking scheme. Oh, Shanahan. Yeah, see, the thing is, like nowadays, it's tough. Like nowadays, like with because Lombardi could draw it up on a blackboard, and what we're going to do, we're going to take the end, and we're going to block the end out, and we're going to come around, and we're going to, the middle linebacker, we're going to get a seal here, and we're going to get a seal here, and we're going to run that ball in the alley, and that's not the way. It's kind of tough nowadays. Run the daylight, because you look at somebody like like Wink Martindale's defense. We're going to take the middle linebacker, and we're going to, well, there may not be a middle linebacker. There might be, three safeties here. It's kind of tough to draw things up on a chalkboard nowadays. That's why you got to use like the zone blocking, and whoever's in this one area, if you come in here and there's somebody over here, you try to take them, and the way, because when I was in high school, everybody you knew, you could draw stuff on a chalkboard, right? Okay, you're gonna have the defensive tackle be here. This defensive tackle be here. Because we've scouted them, we've looked at the film. Their end is always over here. Their other end is over. The middle linebackers usually right around. So you can kind of figure out what's going to go on. Nowadays, it's so complex. It's just crazy. Steve Owen and Jim Lee Howe use those concepts. Wink reminds me of Buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like Jimmy Lee Howe, a lot of what he wanted to do, I think when he one of his things was he wanted somebody designated to run the offense and somebody else to be designated to run the defense. And that's why they wound up, because they had Tom Landry, and then they wound up bringing in obviously Vince Lombardi from Army to run the offense. So he could just, I don't know. I don't want to say be a poor coach, but he had somebody run the offense and he had somebody else run the defense for him. So, which wound up working out pretty well. They leave and wind up ending up. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, but the way Jimmy Lee Howell had it, Jimmy Lee Howell was there from 1954 to 1960. I mean, from 54, 55, he was there, 7 years, 3 to 7 years. They wound up going to the championship game. So, the thing was in 1959, Vince Lombardi wasn't there anymore. So he wasn't the offensive coordinator. Maybe Ali Sherman might have been the offensive coordinator then. But, Landry praised Howell for not interfering. Yeah. That's screwing things up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember a lot of the guys used to, because Vince Lombardi was just like that tried to, was the offensive coordinator. He wasn't the coach. So a lot of the guys used to hide his chalk and stuff like that. And they used to, they would laugh at him and kind of made fun of him and stuff like that and everything, because he's trying to yell at guys, and they really didn't respect him a whole heck of a lot because he didn't have a ton of authority and stuff like that. But once he got to the Packers, he had authority, and guys weren't yelling at him then, or guys weren't hiding his chalk then, because if they did, they were in a lot of trouble. But I remember when he first came in, because he came in from Army, and you got some of these guys, been around for at least a little while, guys there. Some of the guys were even older than he, or almost as old as he was. So, when he came in, a lot of guys were making fun of him and stuff, because he was trying to yell at him and stuff, and that just wasn't working. But when he got to the Packers, yelling worked a lot. Oh, yeah. Yep. And also Sam Huff loved them. Well, they loved them a lot after, because I remember one time Gifford was saying something along the lines of I don't remember, it was 55 or 56 or whatever it was, but I don't know. Lombardi came in, and maybe Gifford was there, in his apartment or something. It was after practice or whatever, something like that. Maybe they were having some beers or something. But Gifford was there. Maybe Rote was there. Charlie Connolly might have been there, or whatever like that. And Lombardi came in, and I think it was in somebody's apartment. And he said, "What am I doing wrong?" He's the coach, and he's talking to his players. What am I doing wrong? And they said something like, just kind of treat us as equals or men or something like that. And, we'll kill for you or something like that. So I think Lombardi changed his attitude a little bit, at least when he was the offensive coordinator with the Giants. Right. And of course, in 56, they went to the championship game. 58, they went to the championship game. Then 59, he was gone. But once he became the Packers coach, he wasn't, he wasn't Mr. Softy then, that's for sure. Sweep should have been the jump. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Because I think it's when after he left, Ali Sherman started taking over. And Ali Sherman, I think Lombardi was more of a run kind of guy. Ali Sherman came in, and he liked to throw the ball a little bit more. Than Vince Lombardi would kind of did. So that's why when Ali Sherman came over, and then he wound up being head coach, I think the Giants started throwing the ball a little bit more. They had some good receivers and all of that. They still ran the ball, but I think Lombardi wanted more control, running the ball, and obviously, for them, the run set up the pass. Because you're trying to, trying to stop Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung, and then of course, then you pay so much attention to those guys, and then of course, then Bart Starr drops back to pass, and that kind of had to open stuff up for the passing game, for them, especially in the 1930s, what the frick was the 1961 championship game. The Packers didn't score a point in the first quarter. Then they scored 24 points in the second quarter. The Giants just couldn't. I can't remember the name. Who was their name of their tight end? Big tight end. I can't remember. 1961 for the Packers. He just killed the Giants. Starr would just drop back because the Giants paid so much attention, to Hornung. Taylor was hurt in that game. He didn't play a whole lot, but the Giants had a hard time trying to control the run. But anytime Starr dropped back to pass, I think they paid so much attention to the run that the Starr was just killing with the passes. I can't remember who their tight end was. Their one tight end, number 89, was 88, 89. I mean, he was just killing him. Every time he was open all the time, just killing him. The sneaker game against Bronco Nagurski, one of my, yeah. And 1934. Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, that was, the Bears were undefeated going to that game. That was one of the times that the Giants knocked an undefeated team out. I think they were 13-0 going in there. I mean, it was 10-3 at halftime. Abe Cohen, an assistant who worked at Manhattan College, they sent him, I guess, in a taxi at before halftime or whatever it was. He went to the college. I think he had to break into the college. I think he met his brother there, and they got into the lockers and they came back. And I heard all kinds of stories. I heard 9 pairs of sneakers, 11 pairs of sneakers, 12 pairs of sneakers, 12 pairs of the largest sneakers they could find. I heard all different kinds of stuff through these videos and everything. But it was 10-3 at halftime, and in the third quarter, the Giants had the sneakers on. I think the Bears scored, so it was 13-3 going into the last quarter, and then the Giants rattled off 4 touchdowns, and they wound up winning 30-13. But I mean, they were losing going into the fourth quarter of that one, But thankfully, who was it? There was somebody on the Giants team that played in Spokane, Washington, who was played on icy field. I think was in college, and he said they put on like tennis shoes. I guess they called them back then. They said it gave him great advantage on a frozen field. That was Wellington Mara said that in the video. Fall in love with 78 with the game, and Lombardi was always my idol. Oh yeah, I was around. Read about all these games. I love football. Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I love the history of it. It just because it was almost like the Wild West. If you especially going way back. Some teams. You look like the Giants, like their first year. Like their first year, they were 8-4. They played 12 games. Well, like the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, I think played 17 games. The Akron Indians might have played 5 games. Some teams disbanded halfway through the season. Some teams changed names from one year to the next. Some team this, and they played a championship game because the Portsmouth Spartans and the Chicago Bears in 1932 were both tied. One was 6-1-6. One was 6-1-4. They played a championship game in a hockey rink, the Chicago Blackhawks hockey rink. It was 80 yards long. So the field itself was only 60 yards in length. It was only 40 yards wide. They didn't kick field goals. They would kick an extra point. The Bears wound up winning 9-0. Just crazy stuff like that. It's right now with everything, everything's just so cut and dry right now. But it is what it is. It makes it what it is today, right? Every team plays 17 games. You play this many games against your own division. You play this. You play these teams this year. These teams that who you're going to be playing next year. What 4 teams for what division you're going to be playing? And this and that. I think it's a lot very cutting. The Super Bowl. Every team's going to have 2 weeks off before a Super Bowl. It's going to be usually played in beautiful weather. It's going to be it wasn't like that back then. 1944, the Giants, the Packers had, I think it was 44. Yeah, 44. That's one of the lost seasons, the lost ring seasons for the Giants. The Packers had like a month off before the championship game. The Giants played every game up until the week before the championship. The Packers had 3 or 4 weeks off before the championship game. The Giants didn't have a week off. They played the week before the championship game, and the Giants lost 14-7. The Giants had so many guys banged up. I can't remember who their stars were, but one of their stars tried to go in and play. He played one series. He just couldn't go. It was his foot or ankle or something like that. The Giants had a bunch of guys banged up. The Packers had a whole month off. If the Giants had a whole month off too, the outcome of the game might have been a lot different. But I think the Giants even beat the Packers during the regular season. I can't remember what the score was. If you're looking 1944, I think the Giants beat the Packers during the regular season. but the Packers had like a whole month. That's not going to happen nowadays. But a lot of the games back then, the weather had a lot to do with it. The 1940, 47, 40, 48, the 1948 game was a blizzard between the Eagles and the Cardinals. I mean, you had to have both the players from both teams had to help take the tarp off the field because there was so much snow on the field, and it's just crazy stuff like that. Now everything's in a dome stadium, air conditioned, no wind. After every play, we'll put a brand new football in there. We'll blow it up to what temperature, what pressure do you like your footballs at? We'll blow them up. Hey, we'll resod the field after every play. It wasn't like that back. So that's just something that just really totally fascinates me, about the old time stuff. Obviously, I'll watch football till I die, obviously, but the old time stuff just really, really fascinated me. The way it is now, it is now. Done a great job. Said when I'm back. All right, pal. Well, good talking to you, man. I'll be back again. I will be back again tomorrow. And we got the 25th. I think that's when Tuesday. That's when the training camp starts. Yeah. And we're off and running. 25th. And soon after that, about a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever, that's when the preseason game starts. And before you know it, we'll be kicking off against those Dallas Cowboys, man. Freaking awesome. I love it. Hey. Oh, yeah, I'll be on tomorrow. Yep, we'll be back tomorrow. Yep. Unfortunately, yeah, I'll try to be back as much as I can because, I don't want to say unfortunate, but I'm going on vacation again in August for a week, so I'll be missing another week. but I'm going to try to go live pretty much every day if I can till now for the next 3 weeks until I go on vacation again. But so Tuesday, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I love talking about football, though. Let me tell you what, but it does help going on vacation, too. All right, well, 57 minutes. Jersey guys, good talking to you. So whoever spent any time listening to me talk, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.